Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of Riddles Around the World. I am your host. My name is Johnny. Welcome in. How you doing? Appreciate everybody showing up and saying what's up. So today we got an interesting topic. Also, we got an interesting guest host. We're gonna get to him in just a second. Today we're gonna be talking about the controversial thing that happened this past weekend at the Astro World Travis Scott concert. But as far as our special guest host, he is the man, the myth, the motherfucking legend in the making. Mr. AKA All Day, better known as J Who. How you doing, brother?
What's up, man? Don't do that to me, man.
How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm doing good. Glad to have you here. I always appreciate when a brother says he got my back and coming to the podcast.
Always, man. It's been a lot of talk about this Astro World, and I
Yes,
want to see
sir.
what's going on, man. It's been a lot of content creators talking about it, so I want to see what we can say about it. Let's see what we got to say. I got a lot of good things to say about it, so let's go to it.
All right, so starting off, there is a lot of content creators, and when I say a lot, I mean a ton on TikTok. Now, I don't know if they clout chasing or if they are legitimately thinking this is what it is, but they are saying it was a satanic sacrificial ritual. I'm not buying it personally. It's my personal opinion. I could be wrong. I don't know, but I'm gonna say it was just a very tragic, unfortunate situation, and hearts out to the families that have lost loved ones from there. Y'all will be in our prayers. That's really about what I got. What you got, Jay? Who? What you thinking?
See, normally on a podcast, you have one person saying the other, but I have to agree with you on this one. I don't think it was a satanic ritual. Um, a sign or a symbol. A lot of people like to get deep on that situation, but I like to look at it as what it is. It's an entertainer. It's someone who knows that this particular symbol or this particular sign is what people will cling to, or what sells on a t-shirt, or for memorabilia or anything where he can sign or anything like that. So you got to understand that he's just doing his job. And for a tragic event like this, where 8 people was initially announced dead, and I think the numbers are up to 11, with 2 I think that's in critical condition right now,
Mm-hmm.
which my prayers go out to each and every one that was affected by this. I think it was up to 300 people that was taken care of medically here. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of people out of 50,000 people at this concert. So that was a lot of people that was affected by this. So I wouldn't say that it was a satanic ritual, and anything that's satanic or anything that's ritual, I would say that it has to have some significance to that particular person. And I don't think that any random person coming to a concert would be anything significant to that person that he would have to give up a sacrifice, if you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean by that.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Now, there was a lot of imagery going around about him coming out of a portal, and it was his head, and the imagery for the sac- sacrifice or whatever ritual they're talking about. I don't know enough to speak on it personally. To me, I think it was just happenstance. That's what he chose. Travis Scott is an eccentric person. He always kind of goes above and beyond for his community, his fan base, and his concerts. He always has a tendency to go a little bit above and beyond for all them. So to me, I think it's all just coincidence. I could be completely wrong on this situation, and it could have something to do because I've seen a lot of content creators talking about the Illuminati set this up, this and that. We could have a whole episode based on just talking about the Illuminati, whether they exist, whether they don't exist. That could be another topic for another day. But in my opinion, if something such as the Illuminati did exist, do you think they would be dumb enough to put that many pieces of evidence together in one concert to kill 11 people?
No, not at all. But you got to think about it. It's art. If Travis Scott
Absolutely.
or any performer would come out and just walk out on stage, they're a boring performer.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to come out with some aesthetics of joy, you know what I mean, or whatever. Some say that it was kind of dark, or they said that it was like they was at a concert from hell, which I could understand you have 50,000 people just cluttered after we're basically in the pandemic. And I don't even know if we're still in the pandemic anymore. People are outside right now. I wouldn't have
They
50,000.
living their best life right now.
Yeah, man, living our best life, like Lil Duval say, man. Just living our best life. So I don't know what's going on right now, man. That's a lot of people in one show. But as I seen, man, as the doors open, people just flooded past the security gates, everything, metal detectors. They were just flooded past, like no telling what people had on them. Like people were getting pricked in the neck, as one medical attendant said that he got pricked in the neck. Like you don't know what people had on them because they're just floating past this metal detector that's for the people's safety. You know what I mean?
I
It's just
believe we
outright
had talked
ridiculous.
about it right before we started recording. Uh, a couple of the staff members actually quit because they felt like they were not trained properly enough. Correct? I do believe you had said something to me about that.
Yeah, I seen that in a article that I was reading that one particular person, he was saying that he felt like he was understaffed and he quit like an hour before the actual show. Not
Mm-hmm.
understaffed, but undertrained. And then I think a couple of more people walked out behind him because for a crowd of 50,000, how much training do you need, or how much training were they giving them? Obviously not enough. The
Mm-hmm.
medical staff was not in touch with the Astro World staff, the Travis security, or anything like that. Drake was a part of it as well. He performed as well, which I was looking at the lawsuits, and it was weird that over 30 lawsuits has been filed on Travis Scott and only
Mm-hmm.
one on Drake. I was like,
That's
wow,
interesting.
only one on Drake, and no one wants to cancel Drake. Like we can't lose Drake music. Not saying that we can't lose Travis Scott music,
I
but
I personally, if I'm in the car, I'm not bumping either one of them. But not because I don't like them. It's because I prefer to sit in silence most of the time because I'll be coming home from work and I just be I'd
I
be
said
like, bro, I just want to be in my zone, get to the house. Nothing against either one of their music. Drake has some hits. Travis Scott got some hits. No hate on either one of them. I'll bump some of their music, but I'm not I'm not too worried about losing their music. To be honest with you.
this is
But
what
I don't
I
think I don't believe Travis Scott is gonna be canceled over this because what evidence do you have that this was some kind of ritual? Yeah, he probably could have done a better job at stopping the concert, but he did stop it. I believe it was two, maybe three times. I believe it was two for sure. He stopped it and told medical like, "Hey, y'all need to take care of this." And one of the big things he's getting a lot of heat for is he didn't just stop the concert. A lot of people don't understand he's a performer. He's an artist. He's getting paid I don't know how much money to be there and perform for the people. So he can't just straight up shut down everything because he doesn't know exactly what's going on in the crowd. If anybody's ever been to a concert, I've been to a couple. Not really my forte. I don't like going to them. There's a lot of really bright lights on the stage pointed directly to them. You really can't see past those lights. I mean, you can kind of see a little bit, but not as much as everybody is really thinking.
not at all.
So, I mean, yeah, he probably could have done a better job, in my opinion, at stopping the concert or not having the people as riled up. He could have calmed them down, be like, "Hey, let medical do what they need to do, leave them alone." Could have, should have, would have, could have. It's in the past. I mean, like I said, it's a tragic event, and I'm not sure. As far as the staffing issue of people walking out because they were undertrained, I mean that could be due to the pandemic. There's a lot of people that get hired off the street now. There's a lot of people that aren't there to properly train people. But another big issue would be communication. They didn't have a lot of communication there. The security team wasn't communicating how many people was actually injured or down, and they didn't have a proper way to get in and out to help the people that was either dead or laying on the ground passed out for whatever reasons happened.
Even if they were, I've heard that there were medical calls that couldn't even be transmitted. Like they couldn't even hear them. They said the music was so loud from the
Mm-hmm.
concert, which I guess you would say is normal. You know, you have loud music at a concert, but how loud was the music? I'm guessing pretty loud from
Mm-hmm.
the clips that I've seen. So it's just a lot that was going on, and a lot of people like to say the fire and everything. I mean, hey, you've seen fire at comedy shows now. Kevin Hart used fire before. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like that's just something that you see now. Like that's something that's just a part of the show. So like those things just happen. This is something
Mm-hmm.
that happened, and it's a tragic event that you do not want to happen again. But sad to say that it probably will, no matter how much that you enforce
Mm-hmm.
rules, people are going to break them. I'm sure that they didn't want people just barging in there and
Mm-hmm.
you know, and just stampeding over one another, and people are just going to do it at shows. You know, I know Michael Jackson. One thing that people always said about his shows was he had ambulance lined up waiting on people that passed out at his shows.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say that no one have died from his shows? You know, no one probably know. You know, we live in a different time where things are broadcasted. So like it's like someone's dead on the floor. I can record this person that's dead on the floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of I don't have a cell phone or a camera phone. I don't know if they had cell phone when Michael Jackson was just popping. Well, he was popping into the day that he died. You know, rest in peace, Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know if they had any type of cell phones when Michael Jackson was just like back to back shows.
I
But
think
like
if they did, it was the old brick
now,
phones.
you didn't have an iPhone 12, 13. You
No.
know, you you didn't have what they have now. So
Mm-hmm.
like you can record that stuff now, and it's just like this many people died now instead of finding out about that stuff months or weeks and maybe months later.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we live in the day and age of social media, technology, and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's a lot different for people now, specifically because, like you said, you can have a cell phone and you can be out here broadcasting, like, oh, hey, look at this, or you can choose to help people. Unfortunately, we live in a day and age where most people aren't going to help other people. They're going to be there to just record, say this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't really know, bro. It's one of those situations where a lot of people can say whatever they want, but they wasn't there. They wasn't in that situation, and there's a lot of people on TikTok specifically that have been talking about this. I don't know if they're chasing clout or if they're just talking to talk, but I know I've seen a couple of people. One dude said he was actually an EMT that worked there. I can't verify his name because I don't have it pulled up. I apologize. That's on my end. But or the truthness to the story. He said that there was like almost a 5 minute hike to get into helping the people, like hiking through the crowd. It was almost a 5 minute walk. Said that he got to somebody that was closer to the front row, and somebody was like, "Hey, we need you to help this person. They've been passed out for like 10 minutes." He said that he checked her pulse and everything. Said that no pulse, no nothing. She wasn't breathing. Said that he didn't know if that'd been 1 minute or if she passed out right then and been dead for 10 minutes. We don't know this. So I definitely think they could have done a better job at preparing medical staff or being able to stop the concert specifically for that reason. Again, I mean, they're entertainers, so they got to do their jobs, but I don't know, bro. This is just a tragic event, and it's weird because of how they're pronouncing and trying to project everything they had on Travis Scott specifically, because he wasn't the only performer. It did happen during his set, which is unfortunate for him. But I don't know. Again, like I said, I don't believe this was some kind of ritual. If it was, it doesn't make sense to kill 11 random people at a concert.
Not at all. But you
No.
do have to understand this. Everyone at that venue, no matter communication or not, they had their job. Travis Scott's job was to perform. The
Mm-hmm.
medical attendant's job was to provide medical attendance. His job is not to stop the show, no matter how many people scream it. But let's check this out. You have 50,000 people there. Let's just go by the numbers that I've seen on an article.
Mm-hmm.
You have 50,000 people there. Could have been more. I'm gonna be honest with you. Those numbers is like inauguration numbers. Like The way that crowd looked, you would think that it was an inauguration. Like that crowd was pretty wicked, man. So you got 50,000 people there. How many people will have to scream "Stop the show" for you to hear them? Like
Exactly.
you would have to have at least half of that crowd screaming "Stop the show" for you to hear them. Especially on stage, you have monitors or earpieces, whichever one you rocking, or both, and you're zoned in on performing. If I don't perform good, I'm an L performer, and if I don't stop the show, I'm an L performer.
Mm-hmm.
So you're putting me in a lose-lose situation. But if the show goes good, I went to Astro World. You know what I mean? It's like I
Exactly.
just went to a show. You know what I mean? Like everyone has their job, and you have to execute your job. I've seen a video. Excuse me. I've seen a video where some people went up to a cameraman. Where is the cameraman going to translate this? Where is he going
Exactly.
to translate this to? No one. All he's going to do is miss his angle and lose his job. So you have to understand he's not the person. Now they are going above and beyond to get medical help. They are going above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a radio transmitter to get in touch with medical. That's medical's job to take care of that. But they should have had way more medical. But I can almost guarantee you they was not expecting the crowd that big. I can almost guarantee you
Big
because they
facts.
would have had way more medical protection there. Like they would have had a lot more people there. The way that it looked, the way that the medical staff was, I can almost guarantee that they did not expect that big of a crowd. Not that big a number, maybe 20,000, but not 50,000. That
Yeah.
was a huge crowd for this time right now that we're in.
All right. So while you're talking, I was actually doing a little bit of research.
What
Uh,
you got?
I, I know you're not gonna be able to see this, but I'm gonna pull it up on my screen. This is one of the reasons they're saying, "Oh, son of a bitch." Sorry. This is one of the reasons they're saying that it was actually some type of sacrifice. This is a post from Travis Scott's Instagram. It said the true dystropia is here. It says, "Fuck it, let's start up some new music tonight." And it's got Travis Scott depicted as a demon. So a lot of people are saying that's connected to the fact that this was some type of satanic ritual. Also, I believe this was on. This was what he came out of. Give me 1 second to crop that properly. But it was some type of a shit. Why is that not working? It was some type of a portal. Oh, there you go. Right here. I'm sorry, I didn't make it bigger. But he's saying that it was some type of a portal from hell to talk about everything else that's going on. And I don't know when this article was wrote specifically, but it says as of right now, 8 people were confirmed dead, which I do believe is actually 11 now. It said 23 people were hospitalized, and one person was injured. Was a 10-year-old. So therefore, they wasn't doing their job properly at checking IDs. I'm pretty sure that was a could be wrong. I think it was a 21 and up event. But the fact that you're letting people 10 years old get through says one thing about your staff. It means you had an extremely terrible staff to be checking IDs and letting people through just floodgating, like you said earlier. My big issue is at any concert, this is this is just a personal opinion of mine. You're gonna have people doing drugs. Now, I don't know exactly the cause of death for the people that have died. Who's to say somebody didn't bring something laced with something, or somebody was going around and just injecting people? Like you said, somebody was getting pricked. The EMTs was feeling like pricks in their necks. Who's to say somebody was there that was actually truly evil and was a bad person and was just like, I'm gonna randomly inject people.
Yeah,
That is,
people do stuff like that. That's crazy,
yeah,
right?
you would be surprised at how much evil is actually in the world when you actually open your eyes and look. Now that could be a possibility that might come out in autopsies when they find out what exactly happened to everybody. That would be an interesting thing to possibly follow up on later. Uh, but that could explain a lot of things that happened. But I don't know if that will keep people from trying to blame Travis Scott about it or not. I don't know, but I definitely think some type of a drug was in play. I mean, this is personal opinion, by the way. It's possible that that had something to do with it. But I mean, again, they were understaffed from what everybody is saying. I don't know the facts behind that. I do apologize for not looking it up sooner, but yeah. How do you go into an event like that and not check for drugs, weapons, or anything? Like, what if somebody got through with a with some kind of a AR pistol? They could have that event could have been a lot more tragic than what it was
Who
because
had
of
on him, man?
yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying be thankful that that didn't happen, but I mean it could have been a lot worse because they did a poor job. And again, I'm not blaming Travis Scott for any of this. He is not to blame. I don't know why people are blaming him. I don't know if they're trying to get an easy check with a lawsuit or what. I don't know. That's my personal opinion, though.
The people that are blaming him mostly are creators, content creators, and they're
Mm-hmm.
doing it for views and likes, which I understand. You have to do things for views and likes. Like that's what people thrive on these days. They just
Mm-hmm.
want and a like. So they pick out any subject. They're going to be talking about something else next week,
Yep.
but this is going to be on lasting. It's going to be this is an ongoing investigation. Even
Mm-hmm.
the FBI just got involved. This is going to be an ongoing investigation, but they're going to be talking about the next person next week because they just
100%.
constantly keep something fresh on their mind.
100% for sure.
I got to ask you about this.
Okay. Shoot.
This is the after party.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Now this is a man who rent out stadiums for a date. Come on now. Multiple times this man has rented out a stadium and how do people get pictures of him? I do not know. Like drones, like
Mm-hmm.
staff, I don't know. But this is a guy who rent out stadiums. So he probably rented out this Dave and Buster's. Like he's not going to go to a Dave and Buster's that I'm at and just like, hey, this is what I'm saying. I'm Drake. Let me play hoops before you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he already rented this out. But they go to this after party that he already had the Dave and Buster's. But they said that they don't know anything that happened. My honest opinion is I don't think they know because if I tell the truth, from what I know, I've never performed in front of 50,000. I've seen people perform in front of big crowds. I know a lot about behind the scenes and me growing up in a religious family. Me growing up, my step pops is a pastor. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know when they get done, they go to the back, they get dressed, whatever, they chit chatting. No one from the event staff come and tell them this happened or that happened. You know what I mean? Like no one actually tell them that happened, and they didn't even know because they had no communication. But do
Mm-hmm.
you think that he knew? Do you think that he knew that stuff and just went?
So you asking if I think he knew that people were dying at his concert? Uh, Honestly, I don't know. I mean, it's a 50-50 shot. Somebody could have came and told him that some bad shit really happened out here, but then again, from what I heard, his performance. Let's take away the bad shit that happened. From what I've read and seen online, his performance was phenomenal. It was one of the best shows he's ever done. So, as a staffing agent, they might not have came and said something to him out of just being like, "Hey, let him ride this high of having a good show right now." So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a possibility that he knew, and I mean, at that point in time, what can he do about it?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say as well. Like on the flip side of that, if he did know, I don't think and as far as having like someone strong on your team or anything like that, like like a lot of strong people would tell you like, hey, like even if you have like a death in the family or something like that, a lot of strong people would tell you like, hey, go have a good time. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
my niece was exactly 8 years old, and she passed away on my mother's birthday, and my like I guess my mother didn't want to have a party,
Mm-hmm.
but like everyone encouraged her, like tears in our eye. It was terrible, man. 8 years old, born on my brother's birthday, passed away on my mother's birthday. Rest in peace, Malia. Um, we still had one of the best birthday parties for my mother that I can say. It wasn't my party, but I can say that was one of the best parties we had, even
Mm-hmm.
though she passed away. You know what I mean? Like at that point, what exactly can you do? So
Mm-hmm.
like even if he did know, like he wouldn't say that because of everything. It's so many people just pulling him down. Like he can't
Mm-hmm.
just be like, yeah, I knew, but I went anyways. He couldn't say that. But even if he did know, it's probably just like, man, let me just chill and relax tonight. Let me get a drink, and then we're gonna handle this in the morning. Let them do their job. He can't be out there and
Yeah,
be
he's not an EMT. He can't go out there and fix things.
department. He can't do that. You know what I mean? Let them figure out what happened. Let them get the total. Let me get this. And I think he is offering to pay for like their funerals and everything, which is a great thing. And that's an incentive that like that's a plus, man. Like he does not have to do that. But I'm
Yeah.
glad he is doing that, and that gives him like he's a hero for that because that was a tragic event.
Mm-hmm.
Some people would not do that, and people have to understand, celebrity, famous, or not, like he's human, so
At the end of the day, yep.
he does
Also, I
not.
want to apologize. I laughed when you said something about a death in the family because you said 8 month year old. I apologize for that. But
8 month, 8 month. Oh,
yeah,
oh, oh.
you said it twice.
I
You
laughed
said it
too. My
twice.
bad. No, no, no,
My
you good.
bad.
You good. No,
I
no,
just
no, no.
I just didn't want you to watch this and be like, hey man, why you
No,
laughing
no,
about
no,
a
no,
death?
no, no,
I
no, no,
apo-
no, no, no. I ain't coming after you, man. I ain't coming after you. No,
but
you
yeah, I
good.
mean, at the end of the day, regardless of what's going on, he is a human being.
We canceling your podcast already.
Don't do that to me now. I'm
Everybody
just,
cancel. Everybody cancel the podcast.
I'm starting out. Come on now, don't do that to me. But no, at the end of the day, he is human, and regardless of what you say or do, it doesn't reverse the tragic event. And also, you can't blame him. That's a big thing that a lot of people aren't understanding. He's not to blame for this situation. He couldn't have stopped it. He could. There's no way of him preventing any of the tragic events. Whether I don't know whether they died from exhaustion from being overly hyped, or if they got trampled to death, or if they got drugged, whatever the case was. What was going to happen? That was God's plan. There was nothing he could have stopped. There's nothing he could have done to stop that.
Speaking of God's plan, I must say this, man. When tragic events happen, you have a lot of leaders, whether it's ministers, pastors, a lot of religious leaders who like to add in what they think. And
Mm-hmm.
I never get that, man. They're supposed to be the main ones loving. And when I say that, I mean that, and I say that and I really mean it, man. They're supposed to be the main ones. They get together and pray for everything. They pray
Mm-hmm.
for presidents, they pray for witches, warlock, whatever they get together and pray for everything. But soon as a brother mess up, he didn't mess up, but soon as a brother is under pressure, they want to say it's this, it's that, instead of just praying, landing out a helping hand. What leaders are supposed to do, they just dragging a man in the dirt, which is the main reason why people don't follow those particular leaders these days, and they
Mm-hmm.
think that people are like going against the grain. And the same as with the youth or whatever, they're just going against their brothers. Like I see people with like tons of his merchandise throwing it away and like, oh, I'm gonna burn this. Like, okay, you're just throwing away good clothes. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like you're gonna regret this when you wake up in the morning. You're going off of emotion instead of like, you know what?
Using
I really
logic.
I really support this man. You know what I mean? Like that's what true love and support is. Like no matter what, I'm with you. No matter what, I support you. No matter what. Now, if he pulled out a AR 15, you know, as you was mentioning earlier, like if somebody got
Mhm.
into the concert with it. Now, if he pulled that out and started going crazy like that, then that's a difference. You know what I mean? But like people were trampled on, people, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't know the cause of every death, but if he did that and like intentionally, then like okay, oh yeah, he would definitely be canceled. But
Mhm.
he didn't intentionally do this stuff. And we got the main people, the ones that should be pushing him forward. Like, you know what? Let's pray for these families. Let's pray for the families affected. Let's pray for the people who was injured, and let's pray for Travis as well. Let's pray for Drake as well, because these people rely on us. They
Mhm. As
rely on
fans.
us to support their family, no matter how much money they got. We don't know exactly how much money they got. They're gonna be putting on the biggest show in the world.
Mhm.
We don't know how much money they got. They're gonna be broker than me, but they know how to finesse it. I'm just saying, you know, for an example.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
they rely on. We know they ain't broker than me.
yeah.
We know they ain't broker than me. But but they rely on us, and we are the main ones breaking them down. Where we can just be like, you know what, like let's let them get through this situation and see what's going. You know what I'm saying? See what's going on, because if we're doing what we're doing on social media, it's not helping one bit. It's not helping with the investigation, because
Mhm.
when I look at the videos and some of the interviews with the Houston Police Department, they're using some of that content to kind of try to get a lead on some things, not necessarily like what people are saying about like the satanic, that like they know what that is. They know that
Yeah.
that's trash. But they're trying to see how many people were there. They're trying to see who was in a crowd, who was, you know what, they're trying to get
Mhm.
pointers off of that stuff. So like if we just keep posting crazy stupid content, it's just making everything so prolonged, when we can just help everyone get to the bottom of it by doing our job, and that's really just minding our own business
Mhm.
and letting them get to the bottom of it themselves, the ones who's trained for this. They like, this their job. If you want to do this, go, by all means, go fill out an application. You can go to indeed.com. You can put out an application. go get sprayed with some mace and and go do your training, and you good.
Mhm.
You're a police officer, you're a detective, you straight. Go protect the city, do what you have to do. But until the end, you don't really have a say so. You have an opinion.
Yeah.
Everyone have an opinion, and that's what people have to understand. Everyone have an opinion, but when you're leading people to believe something that is not, like, instead of just like saying an opinion, like, oh, I think that it was this, I think that it was that, you're like, Travis Scott worshiping the devil,
Mhm.
sacrificed 8 people. What? You
Yeah.
don't know. You don't know what this guy's actually doing. You know what I mean? Like, this guy, he's a human being. But if you had the same platform, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a Twitch streamer. If I had 50,000 people in my Twitch stream, I don't know what I would do. I'd be so happy. Like,
Facts.
not as far as that, but like I'll be so happy. Like I wouldn't even probably like play the game. I'll just be like shocked. Like 50,000 people join my stream.
Facts. We switching to just chatting screen.
like I'm changing the title of the stream. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like 50,000 people, like performing in front of 50,000 people. But that's what content creators want to do. They want those millions of views, millions of plays, but they're hindering everything outside of that. They're
Mhm.
hindering the investigation. They're hindering their own lives because they're telling a lie, and then they got their phone blowing up for an unnecessary reason. You know what I mean? Like, so
Sir. All
you
right.
know
So
what I'm trying to say.
we getting to the point where we about to wrap everything up. What I like to do when I end podcast or my podcast, full disclosure. All right. So if somehow the government or the news outlets got a hold of some kind of evidence tonight and they released it saying this was a 100% satanic ritual, how do you think, one, the world would react, but what would be the ramifications or repercussions of that? What do you personally think?
Travis Scott will still be Travis Scott. I don't think anything would change. I think that Travis Scott is more of Travis Scott because he is the number one search person right now in the world. One thing I must say before we do exit. You remember when Steve Harvey pronounced Miss Universe wrong? Was it Miss Universe?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember exactly
I,
which
I'm,
one.
I'm sorry if I pronounce if I say the event wrong. I apologize. I think it was Miss Universe or Miss America. One
Yeah.
of the two. He said that he was the number one search. He said everybody tried to get rid of him, and Steve Harvey is still Steve Harvey. You know what I mean?
Well, see,
Travis Scott
the
be
difference in that
Travis
situation
Scott.
was he just got a name wrong versus them admitting that Travis Scott was a satanic worshiper and he did sacrifice these people. That is a different situation. To me personally, I think he would get canceled if that was to come out, if that was actual truth and it was somehow let known. I do think he would be canceled. But I also think it wouldn't have as big of a steady repercussion as a lot of people would think. I honestly think that we would remember it for a year or two and it would get pushed aside by the next big thing. And I think we'd just be right back where we was. Like, I think concerts would take a hit for a long time because you wouldn't know what was what. But again, I think eventually it would get brushed under the rug, and I think things would go right back to how it was. So I don't know. That's an interesting outlook on it, in my opinion. Uh, I don't know. It's a curious situation at the end of the day. But Jehu, my brother, I appreciate having you tonight. If you have anything you want to plug, such as your Twitch, you said you was a Twitch streamer as well. Your Twitch, your TikTok, your Instagram, whatever you want, go ahead, plug it in real quick. The links to all of his things will be in the description down below. So I'll let you have the floor. Let you plug yourself. Let the people see your pretty face every day.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank you for having me once again, man. It was a pleasure. You can find me on every platform at AKA underscore all underscore day one. AKA all underscore day one. I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm glad to have you. I'm sure I'll have you back as a guest host again on another topic. You know.
Anytime.
Yes, sir. But myself, I'm also a Twitch streamer. If you want to check me out, link for my Twitch will be in the description down below. I am the Riddler 1370. I am Twitch's favorite Viking. It's a self-given title. I'm working towards making that an actual thing. You know, we all come together and we can make that happen one day. But links to that will be down in the description below. And I think this is how we gonna wrap it up. Jay, who got any final words for you?
We out, man.
We out. Y'all have a good day. I love y'all. Peace.